Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you're looking at this or watching this. This is Manjunath again from Infantry Homes. Uh, Again, buoyed by our last two bits that we had uploaded, this is turning out to be an exciting journey for us from the point of view that the number of people trying to find out all these information and their calling has only increased, and we are extremely happy to what you call as help customers through this medium with our limited knowledge, whatever that we can share. Um, Today, I think we will talk about something called as a joint development agreement. Many customers, what you call as, have a choice of buying an apartment and they start visiting the sites, try to understand what the flat is, what the price is. And then many of them also do believe that once the legal due diligence is over, everything is hunky dory and everything is okay, and then they've made a great decision. Here, what we do is at Infantry Homes, before associating with any particular project of any developer, whatever it is, we try to understand whether the development is being done by the developer on his own land or on a joint venture, which is almost about 70-80% of the cases are normally a joint venture or a revenue sharing agreement, right? See, this joint venture is very important to understand because the landowner is somebody who has negotiated and gotten into a joint venture agreement with the developer on certain terms and conditions, and those terms, satisfaction of those terms and conditions is very important by the developer before or simultaneous to the prospective customer who has purchased, taken a bank loan, gone through the process and things like that just before the occupancy. So I think we will discuss about that for a little while. Basically, a developer and a landowner come together. A landowner basically contributes the land as his equity into the project on whatever the terms and condition, and the developer contributes the sales, marketing, and the construction part of it, and then they have certain kind of a sharing ratio. What are the things that it is very important for a customer to look in joint venture or a revenue sharing agreement is a subject matter which is of which should be of some interest to a prospective purchaser. The reason is because if you have noticed, in Bangalore or anywhere in the country, there are several projects which has what you call as suddenly come up. It's already gone to the last floor, 6th floor, 7th floor, 20th floor, 3rd floor, 4th floor, whatever it may be. And then suddenly you see that the project has stopped or it was not progressing in accordance with the schedule committed to the customer. The fundamental reasons for that could be no sales, or the developer is not willing to fund further monies, or there could be some statutory problems, or there could be some issues with the landowners on a JDA. So it is very important to understand the terms and conditions of how a JDA is structured between the developer and the landowner, which ultimately insulates the customer from any perils pertaining to that joint development agreement. Therefore, the first fundamental point is a customer need not worry or be bothered about the terms and conditions of the business side of the JDA. But the fact continues to remain that the first thing is the joint development agreement should be a registered one between the landowner and the developer. Therefore, there is a legal sense in the association where you are putting in your hard-earned money. The second thing is the joint development agreement also should be coupled with a registered power of attorney, which basically empowers the developer with whom a customer negotiates and deals with to ensure stating that he can do several acts and deeds, which amongst the several acts and deeds like building, getting plan sanctions done, appearing before statutory bodies to get the approvals and stuff like that, he should have one very important power vested with him, that is to represent the landowner to receive the sale consideration from a prospective customer in the name of him, in the name of the developer, or in an escrow account as the joint development may state. This is very important basically because at Infantry Homes we have also what you call as experience whereby the developer doesn't have those powers and he ends up selling those flats just because he's the developer over there without the consent of the landowner, only for the purchasers to be to be alarmed at a much later date that the developer did not have these powers. So this is very important. That is one issue, and the second most important thing is simultaneous to the completion of the project, simultaneous to the developer handing over the position of the flat to the prospective purchaser. The terms and conditions on the joint development also has to be satisfied as far as the landowner is concerned, because that is the premise with which the title accrues to the prospective purchaser. Now, going forward, what happens is you all pay the sale consideration, whatever it is there. Now, coupled with RERA, what RERA says is all the monies that is being paid by the developer, paid by a prospective purchaser, has to be deposited into a designated escrow account. The developer does not have a choice to utilize those funds in any manner as he deems fit. Basically, about 70-80% of those funds has to be invested in the project, and a report has to be filed to RERA every 3 months, 4 months as to who gave how much money, how he has spent, what it is and what it is not. And invariably, that since the escrow account is in a bank, the bank monitors those releases as well. This is another aspect which a customer has to necessarily try to understand, is in our opinion. So at Infantry Homes, what we do is whenever we try to take a project for sales and marketing, we make sure that these minimal aspects of the joint development agreement, if it is the case, so are what you call as taken care of. So in some essence, basically the agreement should be registered, one. The second thing is the developer should have a power of attorney, which virtually states that the developer has got powers to represent the developer to what you call as collect monies on behalf of the developer, either in his name or in favor of the landowners, as the case may be. This is the second most important thing. And the third most important thing is at the point of time of what you call as taking possession, more or less it would be worthwhile to understand that the landowner and the developer do not have any other issues, and the terms and conditions of the joint development agreement has been satisfied. Well, this is to talk, given the timeline, we don't want to, Infantry Homes doesn't believe in what you call as going into the detail, but at the same time, as you've all been calling, kindly keep calling us. We will be more than happy to talk in detail about this at any point in time. Have a nice evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.